I think we're live. Okay, we are live, and thank you very much for tuning in. This is a hashtag reinventing drawing group with Jason Leeser, Sunday afternoons. We do multiple drawing groups and art jams, streaming all of this through the Reinventing the Tattoo community and mobile app. So, okay, we are live, and haha, that's if you were beaming in, make sure that you shut your stream off before you do, because otherwise you will experience that echo. So, speaking of beaming in, if you go to the Reinventing the Tattoo mobile app or community.reinventingthetattoo.com, you will find in the event schedule the links, well, to watch this, but you're already watching, but you'll be able to watch it inside of the app, and also the link to zoom in. So if you are an artist and you are creating art, then please, again, yeah, find that link, or shoot us a question in the chat rooms. Speaking of the chat rooms, let us know how everything is sounding and working for you, and where you're beaming in from, as this is going out on multiple Facebooks and YouTubes. So let me check them and thank them while we're doing this. And we have multiple things going on here. So yep, we are in the Hyperspace, the Tattoo Television YouTube channel, the Tattoo Now YouTube channel. We are on the Facebook's tattoos.com's Facebook, on the Tattoo Now Facebook, Hyperspace Studios Facebook, tattooeducation.com Facebook, but really the place where you want to be going is to the mobile app store. So other events that we have going on. This is not just a one-off stream. We do these like 5 times a week now with amazing artists, and they're actually all worth watching. I watch them all. Okay, this is our Sunday afternoon Reinventing Drawing Group. We do this every Sunday at 1. And then tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is kind of time for Europe, we are hosting the first Biomech Global Party. It's basically a massive art jam. There's going to be multiple groups of artists, tattooers, but also regular original artists, all collaborating. So they'll be drawing in little clusters and then swapping out and collaborating and beaming in their works, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a global art jam happening Sunday at 6 o'clock. So beam in. We're often doing Sunday night art jams either at 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock, depending on who the guest painters are. Every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern is the other Reinventing Drawing Group with Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network. He's got an awesome podcast. He's also a great artist and tattooer, and it's at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's a great way, Monday morning, great way to start off the week. At noon on Mondays, we have Let's Talk Tattoo with Mark from Needle Jig. And then Monday nights is the subscribers events, or subscribers exercises with Guy Aitchison. So if you are a member of the Reinventing the Tattoo curriculum, it's a couple $100 for the year, or it's like $300 now, I believe. And well worth it. There's every Monday there's exclusive exercises for members, as well as critiques and all sorts of cool features on the mobile app. So please subscribe to Reinventing the Tattoo if you appreciate this. Now, all the free programming is care of our sponsors, and we can't thank them enough. Starting with inkjetstencils.com. They have an awesome setup where you print out your stencils straight from the printer, and Andre Malcolm has recently put up a picture where he printed out a whole back piece, in one big massive sheet. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. But I know a lot of shops that have just started using them for regular size, and they have eco-friendly ink printer things, so it's actually not, also relatively eco-friendly as far as printing goes. Anyways, inkjetstencils.com, check them out. Then there is still, before the first of the year, Cheyenne Tattoo Machines is giving up a tattoo machine. I think it's a Solterra with a grip. It's like over $700, $800. So if you go to tattooeducation.com/giveaway, then you will see the vetting form, and even if you're already vetted, please just fill out the information again so that we know that you're entering to win the Cheyenne Tattoo Machine. And yeah, you can check out their, Cheyenne spot on the app. Actually, Inkjet Stencils got a pretty cool section on the app too. Okay, I'm going to, I think that's it, hand it over to Jason, and he's working on a looks like a back design there. And if anybody has any questions or anything, I might pop in just to relay some messages from the chat room, and we hope to see people beaming in. Cheers.
How's it going, guys? So welcome to the Sunday drawing group. Just kind of doodling around, playing around with a couple of back piece concepts. Had some pretty weird dreams last night, so I thought I'd try to throw them down and just get some stuff together. Just working in Procreate right now, just, sketching some stuff up. If anyone ever has any questions at any time, feel free to ask. I've got just about like every chat box up from every site that I think it's streaming to. So yeah, feel free to go ahead and ask how things are going. So I'm just going to start off. I had this crazy concept of this really crazy snake and waves back piece. So I think I'm just going to start laying that out.
Also, I'm going to throw myself on here real quick again because I was so excited about the tattoo machine workshop that I completely the last announcement. Tony Urbanek, I just got off the Skype with him. We're going to be cutting a video. He's doing an awesome how to build a Paul Rogers style tattoo machine series of workshops. It is 8 2-hour webcasts where he's going to go through and build a tattoo machine with you. The goal is to do this from as few pieces parts as possible, and he's got a list so that you can scrounge up all the materials, but for an extra $150 I think he will send you the parts if you're not able to scrounge them in the time. Anyways, if you get to reinventingthetattoo.com/build a tattoo machine, then you'll get more details and you'll be able to register for that. So yeah, thank you very much, Tony Urbanek, for letting us get a peek into your mind. And it's great. If you don't know Tony, then yeah, you will soon. Okay, now I'm in the background again.
Cool. Well, thanks, Gabe. So yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of laying some stuff out. I always end up second guessing myself as far as like, okay, well, how big do I want this to be? How do I want it to sit? How do I want it to flow? Does this have the right flow? I always try to make sure that I have certain things in certain spots as far as large scale tattoo design layout goes. I'm sure we'll probably be getting other people that pop in here and making cameos. Last week's was awesome. Actually, I had one of my heroes pop in, a guy by the name of Brian Donovan. He works out of a little town called Hatboro in Pennsylvania. Phenomenal tattooer and artist. Really, really awesome dude too. So if you guys ever get bored, feel free to look him up. Yeah. So like I said, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to make a comment or ask away. So I always find that working in multiple layers always is pretty helpful. I always like to start off drawing in red, just out of force of habit, sketching with a red colored pencil. It's just something I kind of got used to. I think I'm actually going to change this up and get an idea. I think I'm going to throw flower here. I'll throw another one here. Maybe throw another one here. Just kind of working on basic shapes, working on, essential flow. Try to keep the number of elements that I do anytime I'm doing a large scale back piece or any kind of a large scale tattoo. I always try to keep the number of elements that are in it to a bare minimum, whether it's, flowers and snakes. Cool. What's your favorite flower? All right, cool. We'll put 2 or 3 of them in there. And that's what you're getting. Cool. You're going to get one snake. You're going to get a couple of flowers. We're going to blow it up. We're going to make it super crazy detailed, and you're going to love it. And that's essentially, the way that I always lay things out. It keeps everything simplistic, keeps everything readable. You can tell what it is from across the street, let alone across the room. If any of you follow the Fireside Tattoo podcast, they're always talking about doing the the rule, and I forget what the name of it is exactly, but it's like the 3-13-30 rule, where it should look good from 3 inches away, 13 inches away, and then 30 inches away. I think it's something like that, or maybe it's 6 inches, 16 inches, and then 6 feet. I forget exactly, but the base principle stands. It should look great close up, and then it should look great from a little bit further back. And then as you're across the room, you should be able to see the composition. It should flow well with the human body. If you're not familiar with your underlying muscle structures and your visual points of interest on the human body, something you may want to look up. There's plenty of resources out there for it. And it's something that's always helped me out throughout my entire career. I've been, researching and focusing on, large scale tattoos for quite some time, put in some work, put in some effort, and it's just one of the kind of things that I've picked up on. I was going to work on just a small flower today, but kind of decided against that and just decided to start doing something different.
I think it would be pretty fun to have one day a month where everyone's working on back piece designs. I know that that's one of the rituals I wanted to get going at the shop back in the day because Adrian Lee, he's always had a back piece day going on. So all the clients that are at the shop are all half naked, where they're getting their backs done, and they see the progress on other people, and it's encouraging large scale designs on the backs is cool. Hey, so we have Melissa Sink is in the chat room. She says good morning all. She's not arting at the moment, but handling other tasks and getting ready for the day while watching.
Morning, Melissa. How's it
Looks
going?
like there's more
Seth,
viewers happening.
Seth is in there too. Hey, Seth.
Seth, I think he's from South Africa. He's a regular. We've got Atomic Injections 47. I did actually finally get your subscription hooked up in the app, so you might just have to quit out and come back in if you're not all set. We had a couple hundred people watching on the tattoos.com Facebook, which was pretty sweet.
That's pretty awesome.
Let's see here. We've got Dave Daru. Hi guys, thanks for sharing with the community. What is the best recommended platform to use for your live feed? So David, the mobile app really is going to be the best way to always find what's happening. You can actually get push notifications if you want to also. But yeah, usually we push out to the Facebooks and the YouTubes, but the mobile app is going to be where we keep congregating. We definitely have a fair amount of people on the Guy Aitchison Facebook, so I just want to let you all know that Guy will hopefully be beaming in. Yeah, and he appreciates all of the support.
It's probably the only Facebook page that I don't have the chat box up for.
Let's see, Willies says, wow, to about one of the tattoo designs. And I think that's got me all the way on through. Looks like more people are watching on the app now, so it's you're not losing anybody.
That's awesome. Always like to hear that. I think I'm going to take, so we'll bring this snake part over top of that flower. That'll push that back a little bit. We'll bring this part over top of that. This will be obscuring there. So let's bring some of these guys out. This little trick that I'm using right now works best with the hard airbrush if you're in Procreate. Set the transparency pretty low. It's a little trick I picked up from a different web seminar on chrysanthemums, and I've been going absolutely nuts with it lately. I think for layout and general concepts, it is an absolutely phenomenal tool. I think it was one of the Tattoo Smart webinars that was done, and it is incredible. So snakes are always like my go-to and my default for, just whenever I can't figure out what else to draw, I just always kind of default to them. So I always, I've got a couple of different serpent brushes and snake brushes, and they just really help you lay things out pretty easily. So I always try to use that for generalized layout.
Definitely worth noting to check out the Reinventing Tattoo Design webcast with Russ and Tattoo Smart and Damon and
That
Brad.
was amazing.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was when Brad was demoing his soon to be released experimental set. It was kind of funny. At one point, I went to the script and I'm like, "What am I? We supposed to ask any questions or what's going? You know, I was so engrossed in what he was doing, I forgot to actually like figure out what I was supposed to be doing. And I looked at the script and Russ had written in, you know, and then Brad comes in and blows people's minds. And I was like, ah, well, there we go. He's doing his job. And as soon as I went right back to the chat room, there was like two people in the chat room. They're like, oh my God, this is blowing my mind.
Right? Yeah, it's amazing just how innovative some people can get with certain things.
With like using pressure sensitivity to go back and forth between like opposite effects on filters and shit. Like, yes, or however that works is it's pretty sick.
So we're gonna bring this part right over top. Probably
Definitely
should.
want to. Oops, sorry.
Uh,
I was gonna say definitely want to thank Hell City, Derb, and Hell City for giving the app a good plug on the social medias. He's got an amazing tattoo convention, and we'll be setting up there for sure in 2022. It's well worth the wait. Hellcity.com. Have you ever been to the Hell Cities or?
I have not. I have not. I have met Derb at a couple of different shows like Puerto Rico. I keep talking
Yeah.
about the Puerto Rico convention because to me it was just such an incredible experience. Um, I was there and literally sitting around and standing around with some of my heroes in the industry, you know, just asking myself, why am I here? Do I really deserve to be here? Like, it I had a little bit of an aha moment with a couple of people. But all in all, it was just a great time. Highly recommend it. Very, very high caliber artists that work it. And Derb's almost always there, which is amazing. As well as a whole bunch of other guys. Yalzi's always there, and Yalzi is just an incredible human being. Um, Yalzi's got more tattoo knowledge in his head than I think a lot of people do right now. I mean, there's something to be said for getting tattooed by Horiyoshi, you know, and, I think it's like 60 some odd other people that he's been tattooed by. But super awesome dude, super friendly, super nice. We were having a debate one time, I think it was actually at the London show, where we were going back and forth about well, who do I think is the better artist? If I had to pick between either Dali or Picasso, which is a really phenomenal and fascinating just debate you can have with people because you're looking at two experts in the field, and you turn around and you say, okay, well, they're both incredible, but if I had to pick one, who would it be? And that's it. Really makes you stop and look at things from a different perspective because there's pro and con arguments for both of them. And whenever you can come up with someone that can really go through and debate both sides of it, it always makes for a really engaging, really interesting conversation.
Yeah, art fights.
Yeah,
I definitely had a amazing time down at the Dolly Museum in Florida. It's pretty out of control.
yeah. I won't ever forget one of my first trips to London back when I was, sure, this was what, 15 years ago, 16 years ago. Won't ever forget it. They had a pop-up Dali Picasso joint exhibition in London, and it was unbelievable, absolutely incredible, just insane. I mean, they had a lot of like their earlier unknown works. So like they had an example of Dali's lobster phone, which not a whole lot of people have ever even heard of. A lot of his original sketches for some of his most famous paintings. It was just absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, it's fun. Part of the reinventing app, I get to fill in the art history section So once or twice a week, it's fun to kind of hunt down and add people to it. And often I'm just picking names that people bring up off of off of these streams. It's kind of cool to see people sign up. Brian Cook just signed up. He's a pretty cool artist. See him around the internet. Now, are you using the any of the techniques that Russ had in that Tattoo Smart?
Yep. The technique I'm using right now with the hard airbrush and the transparency settings to, just get a rough layout for chrysanthemums. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. It was, and it might take me a quick second to find the exact seminar. It's a good thing I have YouTube up already because I'm already going through and monitoring the chats on it.
Nice. It's one of the Tattoo Smart streams. He does. Russ is pretty sick with the getting good artists in there and doing good demos. He's got his tech down, which is great.
Wes Holland. It was
Wes,
the chrysanthemum seminar from Tattoo Smart with Wes Holland. And this is a technique that he uses and he details quite heavily in that seminar. And when he started doing it, it was like, wow, that makes things easy. Because every now and then you just run into someone that just shows you a different way to do something that just is so unbelievably simplified, but so effective that you can't help but adopt it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to watch it. Watch people affect each other, and then share, and then it goes through the, it's basically like watching parts of the spirits of tattooing fucking travel around. And
No, right? Yeah, one person I've been looking at a lot for inspiration is actually a friend of mine named Phibbs.
yeah.
I've been lucky enough to get tattooed by him twice, and every single time I talk to him, it's just mind blowing. He put out a sketchbook during quarantine, and sat down and read through that and did everything. Just looking at his whole process, it was fascinating. I like to call him the chrysanthemum king because he doesn't even think about it anymore. He can freehand a chrysanthemum sleeve on you maybe an hour, and then he'll tattoo it and you'll have a full sleeve. And
shit's sick.
Yeah, very high contrast, black and gray stuff. I'd actually like to see if I can get him on here one Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's absolutely unbelievable and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Super talented, just a great all-around human being.
Yeah, it's very important. It's tattooing basically enables the clients to kind of be who they want to be, but likewise the tattooers. So if you want to be a jerk, you can be a real jerk. But it's always good to, obviously, it's always amazing when you have awesome people, dive in wholeheartedly into the art. And you could tell there's some real good spirit behind this stuff. This is amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, and he's actually done seminars on Fireside,
cool.
And going through and having, he did a pretty substantial amount of tattooing on me. That's the collaborative back piece with Bill Canales.
Oh yeah.
And that
Bill's another amazing. He's a legend.
Yeah. I actually have his book sitting right in front of me. His Book of Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the pre-orders for it, and it's impressive. You look at this guy's body of work and how long he's been doing it, and then to see a collection of all of the work that he's done, all of the effort and all of the years of drawing, that he's put into it, and then getting able to see just this whole collection of work that he's done, it's just unbelievable. And same thing with Phibbs. When he put out his book during quarantine, it was just, it was 3 years in the making. Of sketching and tattooing and then designing and layout. And it's just absolutely unbelievable just to see what these guys are producing in, such a period of time. Highly recommend, if any of you are in the San Diego area, stop by, say hi to Phibbs over at Guru Tattoo. Tell him Jason said hi from Philly, and, just talk to him. Great guy, tons of knowledge, maybe a little quiet at first, but definitely a phenomenal human being. should give us a good start. So let's go through.
One of the questions in from the chat room is, what are you using for your body shape?
A stock photo, believe it or not. Just did some stock photo, or did a stock photo search of I think it was just like female back, and or female back model, and it was like 12 million different results. You got to kind of filter through to find some of the good ones, but I actually have a whole folder. Let's see. Your albums. Where is tattoo reference? I'm gonna pen up. So I actually go through and collect stock photos. A lot of these are just facial references and expressions that I found that I like. There's some really great 3D models out there. If you do a hunt for female body 3D model, you can find different people that'll sculpt different things, different angles, proportions, once again, expressions. Like, that's a classic photo. And when you look at that, you just can't help but capture the expression. Different light sources, illustrations. Here's another 3D model. Here's another 3D model. Different back piece layouts can be done depending on the person's actual shape of their body. Today is basically just, sketching and just getting a concept down. So I'm not really too worried about whether or not this fits any one specific person's body type. I'm just kind of going through and just doing a quick mock-up just to show people what is possible, what's out there, what I can do for them, something that could potentially turn into a back piece. I've already got, I think, 3 or 4 on the line right now that I'm currently in the progress of working on. But I love large scale tattooing. So yeah, I think it all comes up to each artist's individual preference. I know some artists that absolutely hate doing large scale tattoos. They prefer to do quicker, more individual one-shot tattoos, start to finish, to completion, bing, bang, boom, they're done, they're out, and they get to see it from concept and stencil all the way through to finished piece. Me, I like the process. I've always been very process oriented. I love being able to go through and, actually just see the process evolve from client coming in, looking at the initial concept, or coming in with their own concept and then going back and forth with them, seeing how it evolves, seeing where they want to take it, and then going through and building bit by bit by bit, and seeing the finished product during that last and final session. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible because you're then transforming someone's body forever. And to see the final piece when you can no longer from a distance really make out the shape of the human body, I think that's just unbelievable. Gabe, you had mentioned Adrian Lee. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I'll fire up his shit now.
Absolutely incredible large scale tattoo designs and concepts. He was part of the analog, or he is still part of Analog Tattooers.
Yeah. Oh, not that Adrian Lee.
Yep. No, I think that's a different person. I don't think it's a tattooer. Yeah, Analog Tattooers.
Yeah, he was a old new school. It was a new school collective back in the day. But yeah, this shit's. Let's see here.
He put on an art show a while back called Suits Made to Fit.
Yeah.
And I still have the original copy of that with the DVD walkthrough, and seeing what he can do with the human body and how you really just lose the form of the human body and you're just solely focused on the artwork is, to me, is just mind blowing. That's someone that has just honed their skill to such a point that, you lose the fact that you're looking at a tattoo.
Yeah, I'm playing this video now in the background.
Yep. Very long process, many, many hours. I think the important thing is to go through and derive your inspiration from wherever you need to. But if you can lose the human form with a tattoo and really distract your eye from those base shapes, then, it's going to be incredible. And it's going to make that kind of an impact and that kind of a statement that large scale tattoos are meant to make.
And his uh, dedication to documentation is just out of fucking control.
Yeah.
Like, he's always had like the best photographers that are doing like full wraparounds and massive books, fucking fold outs left and right.
Yeah, I have his bodysuits book, which is two huge volumes that are all fold outs.
Yeah, let me go get it.
Yeah, it weighs 70 pounds. I didn't think it would be I didn't think it would weigh that much, but it's absolutely ridiculous.
Jesus Christ. Oh man, this is huge. Okay, let's see here. How am I going to finagle? And gallery, let's see, speaker, nope. Oh, I need to turn on my video.
Usually
Okay,
helps.
let's see here. I don't know if you can kind of see the
What about
fucking
bodies?
boom.
You want to talk about a book that you can really work out with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I pinned the
Hey,
first
Kyle.
screen.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, so
Yeah. So if you just look at this, I mean, it's unbelievable. He goes through and he details the artist that did it, the client that got them done, and he gets them photographed from every angle with perfect lighting every time. And it's not just new school people. It's, you can get a lot of Japanese stuff. You get a lot of biomic stuff. You get people that do all different genres. And it's absolutely incredible the way that he puts everything together.
okay. Oh, guy.
Hey,
Oh,
what was it?
okay.
Hey, Guy.
Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, survived the holidays officially, and
Woo!
pretty jazzed about tonight's thing.
Yeah.
Party. And yeah, right now I'm just dropping in to say, hey, I'm going to work for a few minutes on the same thing I was working on last time because it's still not ready for me to send back to Killian. And that's this sort of landscape-ish. I guess I'll do a quick scan on it so you guys can check it out. So yeah, it's this kind of waterfall cap landscape thing. I feel like the contrast really needs a lot more range. Like the darkest shape in the foreground isn't that much darker than the darkest shape way back here. So I'm gonna do a little bit more pushing in that direction before I send it back to Killian, and I'm gonna trust him to tweak the colors on this because we've lost quite a bit of the color saturation in the course of me glazing over this with these blue whites. There's some pinks and reds way in the background, and we need some of that to offset all these blues and turquoises. So that's where this is at, and I'm hoping that after today, I'll be ready to mail it back to him because I got a couple other collaboration projects that I need to get back on. I think the thing I'm working on with Ty McEwen is in the mail. It should be here in the next day or two. And then I've got something going on with Mike Cole that is fairly epic, and I'm going to need to carve out a little bit of space for that. And what you working on?
Just a back piece concept. Nothing crazy, nothing, out of the ordinary.
So you're basically taking a mum and going really huge with it. Is that what that?
Yeah, I got a couple of them in there.
Yeah.
Just focusing on getting a snake, wrapping around it. You know,
It's
just
great to work.
sketching and doodling.
It's great to work that way sometimes, where you're like the mum, instead of thinking linear, and figuring out all the outlines for it. You're just sort of buffing it in there, and I think that's a more intuitive way to explore using the space. And then, of course, once you get that kind of agreed on with yourself, you can always come back in and figure out where the exact lines go.
Right. It's something I started doing a little bit more of in the past few weeks. Is just going through and blocking in shapes, keeping everything pretty rough until I was finally ready to say, okay, this is definitely going to go there. That's definitely going to go here. Here's where this is going to go. And I really like some of the results that have been coming out of it. So it was a different way for me to look at things, and started to apply it, and it's been working pretty well.
Yeah, it's pretty contrary to how tattooers are taught to think, and it's something that I always struggle with a little bit, unless I'm painting, of course, where then I can just kind of pound it in there. But I follow a couple of different concept artists, and they seem to think a lot differently, like movie concept artists.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite one being Alex Ruiz, and he's featured in the Biomech Encyclopedia and showed some Photoshop tricks. But yeah, just seeing how fast these guys can block stuff in and just hammer it together, and you look at it and there's not much to it, but it suggests so much because the lighting and the atmosphere is right, even though the shapes themselves are vague and the outlines unformed.
Holy shit!
What are we holy shitting
This
about?
is Alex Ruse. I was expecting like a comic artist. I was expecting Alex Ross.
Okay, no,
this is amazing.
He's freaking nuts. Now he did a lot of concept design for the Avengers movies. Thanos' wardrobe and his throne, all that stuff. But prior to that, he was a Simpsons animator. So, just to give you an idea of the kind of artistic paths people go on.
This guy was a Simpsons animator. Wow, amazing.
For 9 years. Yeah, he did many, many episodes. Got so comfortable there, it was hard to leave. But then he ended up having an artistic crisis of just only drawing bug-eyed characters. And I think he ended up visiting the Weta workshop where they were working on the Lord of the Rings movies. And seeing these concept artists working on their tablets and hammering out these, giant ogre designs and things like that. And he's like, oh, wow, I could do that. And ended up taking a big pay cut and going on a very long journey to finally arrive there. But yeah, Alex's story is in the Biomech Encyclopedia. Anybody who has a copy of it, just look under film design, you'll find him.
Awesome. Hey, so Guy, while you're here, there's been a fair amount of action on the Guy Aitchison Facebook, of all places. Wow. Let's see, you've got Gerald Smith says, thank you guys for doing this. Joel says, the original artist who invented biomech tattoos. I think referring to you.
I wouldn't agree with that 100%, but thank you.
It's check out the Joel. Definitely check out that bio encyclopedia because Guy goes into the whole family. Dolores says Feliz Navidad, un bichen prospero ano nuevo 2021. I think that's Merry Christmas and a bichen and prosperous New Year's.
Nice.
Louis Bernard says proud to hear about Fibs, my friend from the old time in Puerto Rico.
Absolutely, so, he's a great guy.
Oliver says a hi from Europe. Christopher says, what are you using for your body shapes? This was for the previously. Lou Perdomo says, happy holidays and New Year, Guy. I think you know. Lou's a friend of one of my drummer tech friends.
Yeah.
Lou Perdomo. He's from right from a couple hours from you, maybe. Steve Neal says always brilliant. Raphael says hello from Santos Beach, Brazil. Alex Navarro just has a lot of exclamation points. I could usually, if there was a word before it, I could make it very exclamation-y, but I don't know what to do with just exclamation points.
You're giving a pretty good sense of it.
Okay, Steve-O Inksmith says, keep on inspiring us, brother. And hello from Wisconsin. Feliz Navidad for Utica, New York. That's from Tito. Okay. Whew.
So yeah,
Oh.
tonight's bio party, I'm getting a lot of feedback from some South American Spanish-speaking artists. I think we're going to have a pretty good contingent of them. So yeah, that should be fun. Maybe we can.
Awesome. Bruno's scheduled to do a Spanish art jam. Shit, one of these Tuesdays coming in January.
Yeah, well, you know what? If Bruno is not busy tonight, that's what I was about to say, and then I got distracted by something in the room. But yeah, it'd be great if he could, every now and then, if someone needs to translate so that they can send their announcement out to the larger audience, he could easily read off some of those.
Yeah. I imagine he's going to be around, but I'll double check to make sure.
Yeah.
Kevin Leroy says, I bought Reinventing the Tattoo many years ago in a clip-bound folder thing. LOL. Changed the way I look at lining, tattooing, etc. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, that was the start. So if anyone else wants to hop on our Zoom call, Gabe, you've shared the link already, right?
Yeah, and the link is if you go to the mobile app and you go to the events, there'll be a link to watch and then a link to join. And a lot of people have been downloading the app. It's kind of fun to watch it happen naturally. I was telling Jason earlier that I think that by the end of the day today we'll hit our 200 mark, and we cruised through that within 5 minutes of having the stream going.
Yeah, so another thing I want to say is Jason, who is leading this group, he's here every Sunday, and he's very proficient with Procreate. So anyone out there who's trying to get a better grasp of Procreate, this would be a good group to hang out in. He can answer your questions. And actually, Jason, I was last night going through the reinventing curriculum and looking at the digital chapter, which as of now does not even mention Procreate because it's a few years old, right? And
yeah, we'll change that.
Yes, right away, in fact. And I've talked with Russ a little bit about that, and he wants to be involved as well. But what I thought might be neat is if, first of all, if you want to just help out with the basic introduction to Procreate, but I wanted to create a chapter that's like a conversion chart between Procreate and Photoshop. I think it would be very handy if you know how to use one and need to figure out how to use the other. You could use it in both directions.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it's a great way to go through and almost kind of like a little cheat sheet.
Yeah.
And say, okay, what do I need to do? Invert. Okay, if this is what I do in Photoshop, this is how I do it in Procreate.
Exactly.
Yeah, something like that would be super easy.
Yeah, it's just become such the standard, and it didn't take long. The fact that it's affordable, obviously, being the big one, but also just the convenience of the iPad, and not having to have a Wacom tablet. I know Wacom really tried to solve that problem for people by making the little sidekick Wacoms. I'm trying to remember what those are called. The companions.
The Cintiq companions.
Yeah. Those are nice, but they were quickly supplanted by the iPad Pro, which can you imagine being the Wacom engineers and, you finally got the Cintiq companion on the market, and then the next Apple announcement comes out. It's like, oh, bummer.
Yeah. It's like, oh no.
But then, of course, the problem of Photoshop accessibility on the Cintiq companion, it didn't work on every kind of setup, and
right.
And so there were definitely a lot of issues that Procreate just immediately disappeared, those issues for people. And so, yeah, naturally it's become the standard. And a lot of people are using multiple apps now. They'll use something for generating mandalas, and then they'll bring it together in Procreate to do the final like editing and layering of their different elements.
That's actually exactly what I do as well. I still use Clip Studio for the iPad.
Okay.
For like a lot of my mandala work, anytime I need a repeating pattern, and even sometimes just to go through and work on layouts in a little bit of a different setting, I'll use that. I just find it to be a lot easier to use, and it has the right type of mirroring functions for very quickly creating repeating patterns, mandala work, anything of that nature. But I always find myself exporting it from that and throwing it back into Procreate to really fine tune a few things and, just put some bells and whistles on it.
So very loosely related to this, just before I forget, because this is one of those questions that's been on my mind for years and years, is does such a thing exist as a 3D mandala maker where, okay, we used to have this app called Terrazzo. Terrazzo was great. You would just, you would tell it how many, divisions of the 360 degrees you wanted, a 6 base mandala, let's say, and it would give you a wedge that would be, in the case of a 6 base mandala, a 30-degree, triangular wedge. And then you would import your source image, and whatever is inside that wedge would just get multiplied around, right? And so then you could drag your source image around inside the wedge and watch in real time and you could make animations from this too if you wanted, but watch in real time as it just took these, this input and, mandalified it, right? But imagine if you could do this in 3D, where let's say you took a 3D scan of a complex root system, and then you have, the 3D file of this, you import it into this thing, and it has a 3D wedge. Let's say it is, 1/2 of 1/5 of 1/12 of a dodecahedron. And so then you drag that wedge around in this 3D space where you've got these gnarled roots and tendrils, and it's taking those and immediately doubling and 10ifying it and then 12ifying it back into a dodecahedron in real time. And then you could, take that and render it in the material of your choice, etc. I've always wanted something like that, right? I don't know if anybody's ever made it. Probably not. It's a pretty specific wish, right?
Yeah.
But if anybody, I'm just putting that out there, if anybody knows of such a thing, or if anybody is an ace programmer and wants to make one and swap it for a sleeve or something, I would pay a sleeve for that tool. I'll just let you know that. If it doesn't exist yet, somebody's ready to program it for me, it would be worth it. And you could have it multiply up into all the major platonic solids or whatever other kind of easily subdividable solid that you could you wanted to program. You just have to figure out the wedge.
I'm not thinking of anything off the top of my head, but there's got to be something out there.
Yeah, not always. Just because something makes sense doesn't mean it's been done yet.
Very true. Very, very true.
Which is how these things get done, right?
Yep. All it takes is one person with a really, really great idea, and then one other person to actually make it happen.
Yeah, well, very stubborn and believes in the idea enough that they're willing to deal with all the hassles involved, because there are many. It's funny though, not to get all, far off into philosophy land here, but, the idea of value, like when is something, worth the most? What is the most valuable thing you could have? It's funny, people are always trying to game that, figure out a way of cheating that system. But I don't think you can. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, the things that you value the most are the things you worked for the hardest. I think that's kind of a law of what it means to be human. And you can't cheat that law, and if you do, the thing will be worth less. Or let's just say you've been busting your ass for your whole life to pay off your house, right? And you're just about there. And then a relative dies and you're able to pay the rest off. On one sense, it'd be like, awesome, man, it's paid off. On the other hand, it almost like trivializes all the work that you put into it up until then. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Oh, I agree. I would agree.
I think that we value things more when we have to earn them. And the harder we have to earn them, the more they're worth. And I don't think that there's a way of working around that. And so that's why I like to choose things that are extremely hard, that take me a long time, that have a real long uphill push. Things other people wouldn't bother doing because they're just too way out there. So there's not any competition. But I have to just keep pushing because it's territory that it doesn't have any easy paths going through it, right? And so I choose these things knowing that they're going to be hard. The encyclopedia, I knew that thing was going to be hard. I don't know how many years it took off my life making that thing. But I like stuff like that because at the end, it's there's a satisfaction you can't get from easy stuff.
Yeah, that biomech encyclopedia is definitely, I can't even begin to imagine just the hours and hours and hours of work that you have put into that.
Well, it wasn't just me, of course. I mean,
Right.
the hours of work that went into it total, including everybody's efforts, are staggering, and some participants were just like living and breathing the project for a long time. I mean, Dan Hazelton, he must have put thousands of hours into it. So yeah, it's just crazy amount of hours, but just the sense of narrowing down. I can't reach my parents yet, so I'm hanging out in a drawing group right now.
Ooh, can I draw something?
Yes, of course. My daughter wants to draw something now.
I've got the bio book here too.
Oh, nice.
This is my day of. I'm hoping I'm not going to hit something. These books are huge, so they're hard to navigate, but they're worth it. Yeah. So yeah, check this out. Okay.
Well, I mean, you may navigate just in terms of physically handling.
Yeah. Physically, I'm just like it's a big book, and I'm trying not to smash my computer.
Yes.
I've got references. Got modeling.
Looks like Oliver joined us. Hey, Oliver.
Hi.
Oliver from Germany. Could you turn your camera to the side? Horizontal? Yes. Jawohl. And here, I'll spotlight you and you can show us what you're working on.
I'm working on the same like last time, but I put it on the iPad to try something out because I'm scared.
It has really nice flow from a distance.
Looks beautiful.
It's a bit confusing, so I try to put stuff in the dark to make other stuff stand out more.
Very nice.
So that's
very
the same
cool.
one you were working on last time, right? But you've just taken it a lot farther.
Yeah, I put oil on the top. I'm trying to do with oil. So maybe you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks great.
Amazing.
I'm not really happy right now, but I'm scared to fuck it up, so I have to try stuff on the iPad.
Yeah, if you can draw a mythical creature in this draw.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to say that is one of the incredible things about working on an iPad is you can just take a quick photo, you can make some adjustments and try things
Yeah.
out before you actually apply it to the canvas.
Yeah,
I love doing that.
yeah.
But I do
That's
want to
what-
say something, like sometimes you get to that point where you feel like you're starting to mess up your piece, right? Or you've done some things to it that don't necessarily feel like you're moving forward. And it's easy to get discouraged, but you have to remind yourself that you're going to encounter that every time you do a painting. Every time you do a tattoo also, to a certain extent, that's actually like normal. And so when you feel that feeling and you notice that you're having doubts and it feels like you're pushing uphill a little bit, instead of getting discouraged, just remind yourself, oh, here it is. There's that landmark. It comes up every time I do this. Okay, time to push. And then you just push and you get through it. Just like if you're a runner and you're taking a route that has a steep hill in it, when you get there, you're not surprised by it. You know it's going to be there.
Okay. Yeah. With a tattoo, you have to finish it. But with
Right.
the painting, it comes all the time, and then it's strange, Yeah, it's good to see it like that.
I've got a great question in here for Guy from the chat room, and they couldn't be asking a more appropriate person. David Daru says, question for Guy. What is your experience on the subject of cultivating patience and how to best convey or inspire that patience to your tattoo clientele as well? And I just want to pop in real quick and be like, man, I have seen you be so incredibly patient with people that it reminds me I've learned a lot. The amount of patience that you. Well, anyways, there's a question, and like I said, you can't be asking a better person.
Okay, the first thing I want to say is I think it's easier for me to be patient because I feel like the kinds of people that I end up tattooing are really terrific clients, and they don't normally have a lot of the usual stupid problems. So, so it's probably a little bit easier to be patient under those circumstances. But one thing that I always remind myself is that I already do plenty of art for myself where I don't have a client telling me, what their preferences are. I mean, like any painting I do, anything that happens in my sketchbook, these things are all my opportunity for me to just express myself and do my thing and not have anybody's input. So when I sit down to meet with a client over a tattoo, I really want them to bring me something that I hadn't thought of. I value that a lot. And sometimes they're not going to really know how to say it, but each and every one of them has something like that to bring us, especially the ones that might seem a little tricky at first. And when I get these clients that are a little tricky, I might feel like at first I might notice myself feeling impatient. And so I'll screech that to a halt right away. I have a lot of internal dialogue about this sometimes. I've had a few clients that have presented challenges like this, and I always remind myself, you really like this guy. Just push through. This is the part where he gives you a surprise that's going to make a really remarkable tattoo out of it. Something you wouldn't have thought of on your own. Try to remind myself that, and generally that's what happens. And if their idea isn't necessarily awesome, or maybe you had an idea that you like better, then the challenge is, how can I take their input and bend it around an idea that's going to work well, so that in the finished piece they can see their input, they can see that their idea was honored and respected and heard, because I think that is actually one of the most important parts of our job. Yes, we're here to make tattoos on people, but more than that, we're here to make people feel good about themselves. I mean, that is our job. And so validating them through listening to their idea and respecting the fact that they might be nervous and they might, they might feel like they need some kind of proof that you understand them. That's not a reason to get impatient. And you know, having been in this thing for 30 plus years, I've had my ego kicked into the dust enough times, you know, um, and eventually I think you just arrive at this place where you really understand how uh, blessed you are to be a tattoo artist, especially if you've got a custom clientele that likes and wants your work. Uh, that we can't be such spoiled children as to say, but it could be more perfect, you know, because that's already incredible. I grew up reading art books. We had this really great series, The Great Artists, that my mom had subscribed to through the local grocery store. And every 2 weeks we'd get another one. And I was devouring these, and so many of these great artists, Rembrandt, Monet, Van Gogh, of course, all were hungry. They had lots of financial problems and life problems. And you know, I remember reading that and thinking, I'm going to do it anyway. But then later on, tattooing came along, and I've never gone hungry, even though I am nowhere near the caliber of Rembrandt or Monet. And that is a blessing. That is such a blessing. So if that means having to be patient with people sometimes when they say something that is like, oh man, they're going to try to steer this day in a different direction from how I'd envisioned it. Because I think that's really when we feel that groan happening inside ourselves. It's because maybe we've already committed ourselves to a particular approach, and they're asking us to back up and change our thinking. And it might even cost a few hours. Ouch. You're going to get paid the same either way. Double ouch. Right. But, you know, if you embrace it, and you say, this is not a bad thing. This is going to make a better tattoo. Then it's easier to be patient. But yeah, there's also people that are going to push you, maybe not thinking that that's what they're doing, but you know, I have a policy. I've never, ever, ever in 32 years had to use it, where the first drawing is included in the price of the tattoo. But if you need me to do a bunch of extra drawings, I start charging you half my tattooing hourly rate for my drawing time. And I've never had to do that. And I'm perfectly happy to make minor adjustments. And if I show a drawing to a client and they have much different ideas, even though we would talk ahead of time, but they're much different ideas, might be something I can actually see in my head and I kind of like it. I'm going to try to make it a better tattoo than it would have been if I'd gone with the original idea. So yeah, there's challenges here. You know, you have to always embrace the curveballs and say this is a good thing. You know, I'm wanting this because maybe you're not. maybe it's been a long week already. But you just have to remember it's valuable and it helps you in the long run. And you know, I think that most of the best tattoos in my portfolio are the ones that people gave me the right spark. You know, I mean, it's nice when somebody tells you just do whatever you want, but to me, it's a little paralyzing. I want to hear something. I want to get an idea of their tastes at bare minimum. And if that includes a crazy curveball, then that's even better. So I don't know if I answered your question or if I just rambled a whole bunch.
It helps if I turn the mic on. Yes, David says, nice, thumbs up. I like that drawing protocol. Thank you for diving into the question of patience.
I think one of the things that challenges people the most is when it seems like their clientele doesn't understand the effort that is going to go into the drawing and to the revisions to the drawing and to the changes to the stencil, and the fact that drawing their tattoo is work, is actual work. and to look at it and say, yeah, that's cool. Can you stick a name in it? They think it's a great idea. They've seen it on TV. Of course, they should put their grandfather's name in it. And so then it's up to us to talk them back from the bad ideas, and it always has been. And we're not always going to be so fortunate as to get clients that get it from the start. We have to help them to get it. And one of the things I remind myself of is when I was a teenager getting my first tattoos, I did some of those same stupid things. Oh, yeah. I hand poked an outline of a skull in my forearm. How much to shade it? Right? Yeah, I was that guy. So if I can be that naive, anybody I think should have the right to be that naive. So I don't hold it against them.
Hey, Dad.
Yes, Kai.
Do you know what these have colored pencils are?
I don't know anything about where to find colored pencils.
I had a huge set of them. They were great. My mom took them.
Well, ask her.
Oh, there they are.
You found them? Great.
She stashed them in an upper shelf.
Well, she was just organizing them so they wouldn't all be cluttering your surface.
So let's see. We've got Hugo Tor has joined the Reinventing community. I don't know if he's on the iPhone app or the Android app, but he's in the community. Pretty cool stuff. He says, "Cool to be part of something made by such cool people!" Exclamation point. Thanks for always sharing and bringing tattoo education to all corners of the world, Mr. Guy Aitchison. And then he posted up a video of some healed tattoos. So
Nice.
it'd be fun to catch up. When people are joining the mobile app, just ahead of time, the tattoos and original art should be posted in the tattoos and the original art galleries. It's really tempting to just kind of go right into the community and put them right in the general forum, but we do actually have folders for them. Not that it's a big issue, but I feel
Yeah, you can put them wherever you want. But when someone's going through the app and sees, oh yeah, tattoo gallery, I want to check that out. That's a good place to put them. So another thing I wanted to mention real quick is any app users who are interested in being involved in tonight's bio party and are looking to find people to collaborate with. I did create a thread in the Collab Lab. If you open up the Collab Lab, you'll see that there is a link for a collab related discussion. So that would be the place to do that if you're trying to find a collab group or anything like that. And yeah, the idea is to form circles of 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and just get some. Each of you start something, and every 30 minutes or so during tonight's party, I'm going to announce it's time to switch. And yeah, swap our files around, and towards the end of the night, we'll show them off, and the people who've been working on them can join the Zoom calls and say, hey, we've got a few guests that we're going to have today during the day. I'm super stoked that Paul Booth is joining us. He'll be coming on at 7 o'clock Eastern. We've got Adrian Dominic coming on at 6:30. We're working on scheduling in Jeff Croce. Yeah, we're just going to be going throughout the evening. Various different personalities are going to be hopping on the call. And throughout this whole thing, we'll all be collaborating, just art jamming, see what we come up with. And at the end of the night, we'll look at all of it.
I wish I was an adult. Yeah, it's so fun.
Do you have any friends that you think would collaborate with you? Come on.
And Guy, the Collab Lab and the collaborations tonight are open for the art community in general, or just for Reinventing subscribers?
I think that's for the community in general, yeah.
Perfect.
Hopefully I did it right so that everybody can see it.
I believe you did, and I was just a question that I was just asked, and but it is also worth noting that if people have the old book or the old 3-ring binders, those don't get you access into the new subscription. It's or the new online courses and whatnot.
Basically, there's a whole bunch of new stuff since then.
The book's been out of print for years, right?
Right. Yeah. It is worth the subscription. It's not just an electronic version of the book that you already have. It's a whole bunch of new stuff, including lots of video tutorials. But the big thing is the Monday night exercises that come with the cost of that. I lead those every Monday night, and we work on projects together, and we've been doing elemental flow this last month or so. I think tomorrow is when we're going to start our kind of finals project on that. Although I'm trying to come up with a variation on it that even people who haven't been around for the earlier classes could still be part of. So I'll be announcing details on that probably tonight during the bio party, and I'll be posting about it as well.
So you're telling me the original serial number that I have from the first edition is no longer valid, even though I bought it 15 years ago? I have it memorized.
Yeah, it doesn't give you lifetime access to all new stuff. No, I'm sorry. But
Is it weird that I still remember that serial number?
oh, crazy.
Yeah, I actually still have it sitting over there on my shelf. Don't think I could ever get rid of it. I've protected it with my life over the years.
I can't tell you how many people I know who've had their copies taken.
Yeah, I won't ever get rid of it. It's like a family heirloom now.
It's for reinventing a tattoo. Yeah, I was just going through some file cabinets of old stuff, some purging in the office, right? And there I found the books that I did prior to reinventing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There was a cover-up book. There was one called The Graphic Language, and there was Color for Tattooists, and they were each about 30 pages with like 10 pages maybe of color. And they were all hand collated, kind of like the binder, except they were just in these little report cover things. And it was pretty wild. I think that I might actually take at least the graphic language and transcribe it and include it with the reinventing subscription, because it's still got some valid stuff in there. It's kind of funny though. It's like kind of grandiose, Again, this is back when I was in my 20s when I did this, and I don't know, not to say I don't think highly of myself now, but I think I was a little bit more of a grandiose personality back then.
Well, I really hope that does become a part of it, because that would be amazing to read.
Well, there's so much stuff. Like the big issue obviously is time, but I think that what's going to be happening in this coming month is we're bringing on somebody who's going to be helping out with our events, and that's going to free up Sandy to be able to really help me focus on the reinventing content and so much stuff. Yeah.
Somebody can help you. That's
Right? We can do a file project. We'll figure it out. I'll come up with something. So I want to put this out there too. I know this is a long shot. My 9-year-old daughter really wants to be involved in tonight's collab circle.
And I might actually get some of my 9-year-old friends to do it.
Yeah, well, I was just going to put it out there. If anybody out there has kids that are artistic that would like to maybe be involved in that, it would be cool if we had a kids collab circle going. Why the heck not?
If there is, I'm excited. Because
that would be amazing.
I really like this reinventing thing that my dad's doing.
Kaya gave me the greatest gift. It was the greatest gift is her, but yeah, she gave me a biomech set, and it was just
Christmas.
a heavy box, this big heavy box. Is like, okay, this feels like mech. It's got to be. But I opened it up, and she had collected all the most beautiful found objects. Some rusty slag from the train tracks, and some very porous rocks, and some really nice pieces of gnarled wood and some fossils. And each item in there would be worthy of a painting. I might have that be part of my spring projects, is working my way through that reference library.
That's awesome. That's a gift.
My daughter gets me.
Sandy Insane in the chat room says, would love to join this biomech party tonight, but it's 7 hours later over here in Belgium. Which I did reply. That was why we went a little early, so that Marcus from Germany could start at midnight. And but there's always the replays to check out.
Yeah, it is. I understand it is late, and if you're willing to pull an all-nighter, it's still doable.
Speaking of Belgium, it does seem like we'll be setting up at the Brussels Tattoo Convention in November, pending vaccines and travel. But pretty excited to actually have a tattoo convention, planned to go to.
Yeah, that is exciting. It's been hard to even imagine or visualize conventions for this. I mean, just the whole idea of, like, if you have to line up 6 feet apart in a grocery store. I mean, how are you going to do a convention? But, the post-vaccine world, we can't visualize it yet. Another thing I keep reminding myself is that you look at photos of 1918 and everyone is wearing masks. And then you look at photos of 1919 and they've taken them off again, right? So this could happen to us too.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of the people who got the encyclopedia had got the first wave of it and got that print that Killian Moon and I did of that kind of lava mech environment. I was really stoked about how that one came out.
That was really cool. That was a really cool one.
Yeah, one of my favorites. And then of course, we got a chance to tattoo it, which was triple cool. But
that was a really cool one, guys.
Okay. But this piece here is sort of like, we're trying to imagine the next one in the series. So that's what this is.
Atomic in the chat room says my boys might be down for it. Don't know what you're talking about particularly, but that's cool. We want to be down for it.
A kids collab group.
Yes.
Right. So, okay, the place for us to talk about this would be that thread that I mentioned that's in the app. So if you don't mind installing the Reinventing the Tattoo app, it's free. You can find it at the App Store. Once you get in there, there's a button for the lab, and in there is the collab lab. And you'll see there's a discussion that I started specifically for the purpose of people wanting to form collaboration groups. And so I'll get back in there after I get off this call and mention that, and then we can figure out exactly. There's a Dropbox we've got there, so we could use that to swap files around, or we could also just privately share our email addresses, so that we just want to make sure that every time it's time to swap files around, we can do it nice and quick, because we'll be doing 20 to 30-minute rotations.
Cool. Kevin Leroy says maybe my 2, maybe 3 daughters would love it.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's try to make this happen. And if we get enough people involved, we'll want to form multiple groups, because I think about 5 is the upper limit for one circle, because what we want to do is make sure that the pieces go around the whole circle at least once. So if there's 4 people and they're 20-minute rotations or half-hour rotations, you're already talking about a couple hours. I'll probably keep the rotations to 20 minutes just to keep things fresh.
It was pretty awesome. Maybe by the time the Rock River happens, the next convention, Kai could lead some of the kids' seminars. I remember doing that at the Paradise Show. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, the kids' painting room at the Paradise Show was great, and it felt like something that needed to happen again. And then, events changed and everything else. But there's definitely a place for it on in the digital world.
Yeah.
Yeah, my banker was telling me about her daughter and some of her school friends have been collaborating online, and I guess they're all reading the same book series, this fantasy book series, and so they're taking turns collaborating on these. They're drawing the characters and then drawing situations the characters are in, basically doing fan art, but all collaborative. I just thought that was neat, because kids can't get together and play like they used to. And one time my daughter asked me, how do grown-ups play? Because I think she gets the idea that the grown-up life is not very fun and exciting, but collaborating is definitely one of them. Collaborating with other artists, to me, is good fun. That is the best kind of play. And I think that kids could get into that too and enjoy it on a very similar level.
All I know is I can get into that.
I think I am going to get off this call now and make another. Oh, my daughter wants to finish the drawing first. Okay. I have to make another attempt to call my mom. It's her birthday. Yeah, I'm going to kind of sit back here. What I really need to do with this painting is I need to do what I'm doing with a 2-inch brush. This is my problem, is I keep pushing the value of it, but it still is. Oh, no, it's starting to resolve. I'm looking at it really small now. It's starting to resolve. Maybe I need to just darken the dark shapes. We've got a couple more passes on it. This is one of the things I really kind of obsess over, is these tiny percentages of, go 1% darker or 1% lighter. But, if you nail those things, you can feel the presence of that space. And if you don't nail it, I think the viewer struggles to, really be there. And that's what we're trying to do, especially with these landscapey kind of things, is create a sense of being there. You can see that this has got several oil glazes over it. You can see there's a little bit of mistiness happening there. I have some very, very small amounts of paint buffed down there to try to nail those percentages just the right way. Yeah, this is our art room. It's pretty fully encrusted with art stuff. Let's try his wall. Let's see what we've got going on here. We've got, oh yes, nice. Can you move the pencil in your left hand? Yeah, good one.
This is what I have so far. I'm drawing a dragon. I'm not that far in.
Yeah,
looks great.
Very nice.
A great challenge that we've been doing with Kaya this last couple of days, and this has been a blast, is we've just been giving her feelings to draw. Like, what does it feel like to have your feet tickled? What does it feel like when you've just made a gigantic mess and you realize you're going to have to clean it up? Those have been super fun. She's learning about expressionism, or I'm not sure if that's technically what that is, but how come I didn't have this bar problem before? Maybe I did. But my tripod is giving me. Oh, okay. That's why.
Pretty fun to see people joining up. Of Claudio from Romania, a tattooer that works with Costi, joined. I believe it's Jason Vors.
Nice.
It's Voorhees Tattoos. It's wow. If people are in the app, make sure you go to the introductions and leave one.
Yeah, I need to make an introduction too. I haven't done that yet. And then, of course, in your profile, sometimes people will check out your profile, and I love to see a list of all the people that have tattooed each of us. You know, it's sort of a, I don't know. I find it a thing of fascination. Some people have been tattooed by a lot of artists. I've found that even people who don't have full body suits might have 20 or 30 names in their collection. If you go to conventions and that kind of thing, it just happens. Next thing you know, you've got a little drunk tattoo from a friend, and it's awesome, and it's part of your collection, and your list grows. Oh yeah, here we go. I've got the bigger brush out. That's what I should have done all along.
It's also fun to see who people want to get tattooed by, and I'm pretty
Yes.
sure I know that people will start picking up some pretty cool clients out of it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting until the borders open back up. Trying
Oh, yeah,
to
good. Text
appointment
or
up at. I mean, I'd love to get tattooed by James, but no, I know he's usually booked out pretty well in advance.
yeah.
I have been looking at a lot of work done by Chris Dunn though,
right.
who also works up at Deadly Tattoos, and I've been trying to book an appointment with him since probably a year or two. Just saving some money, figuring out what space I have available and where I want to go with it. Very graphic style, very illustrative. I actually just picked up a couple of original paintings from him since I can't get up there to get tattooed yet. So,
Chris Dunn, you said?
yeah, Chris Dunn. Yeah, I really like his use of perspective, his use of color, like just about everything that he does. So it's like, all right, well, I've got an open spot left on my stomach, so do that, fill that spot in, and then maybe start talking to him about something else, maybe get him and someone else to do a collaborative piece. Or I also love Anthony Tex, James's son. His work's incredible.
I've not seen his.
Yeah, very similar to his dad.
Yeah, I absolutely love James Tex's work. He's one of my favorite illustrated tattooers, just because of how expressive his drawing style is.
Yep, that's him.
This is Ant.
I was actually, I actually reached out to Chris Dunn about possibly doing a collaborative back piece with Anthony. Just scoping it out, just seeing if they would even be interested in the idea. And I figure it's something I can always toss out to them more once I get up there to get tattooed.
This is James Text I'm throwing up now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just crazy good. And, it's the character in it, it's not overly exaggerated, but it's still so expressive.
Yeah, his use of perspective alone, to me, is just unbelievable.
And have to put on some Steve Moore here if
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love Steve Moore.
Get more tattoos.
His stuff is just on a whole new planet.
Sure, Steve. Yeah, that particular painting, yeah, I think I remember he put it up for auction, and it raced up in price. It's just such a beautiful piece.
Kay Smith says a little late, but good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I unfortunately am having to hop off. I wanted to show Kaya's Dragon one last time before I hit it, and then I'm going to try to reach my mom. And I'll be seeing many of you tonight.
Awesome.
That is so gorgeous.
Man, that's another level. I love his color palettes too. They're so focused on, you see a lot of muted tones. You see a lot of muted blues and reds, a lot of ochre tones. And then you get other stuff that's just, it's just crazy. His color complements are on a whole new level.
Yeah, that one there, love it. Just the amount of heat down in the lower left-hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because he hung back and didn't use any of those colors elsewhere. He's really, like the chapter on reserve, that where I talk about this stuff. He goes way farther with it than I do.
That's a sick T-shirt.
All right, so I'm going to be hopping off. Here's Kaya's Dragon.
Very nice.
I think not bad for like burning through it in 20 minutes, right? She's
nice.
She just draws like 4 or 5 of these a day. Some of them digital, some analog, and various different apps, various different mediums. Anybody out there who's got kids that are embracing art, all I can say is let them try everything. All right, I'm going to hit it. I'll be seeing you folks later this evening. Jason, been a pleasure. Thanks for hosting as always.
Take care. Have a good one.
Have fun.
Catch you a little bit later.
Cheers.
Let's see what else we've got. Greetings from Denmark. Beautiful work. Darcy, Bob Olson guy, Pat B. Nice My Master from Andres. This is pretty freaking awesome. Oops. Cool.
I was actually talking to a couple other guys that work pretty locally, and the one guy's actually been getting his back done by James.
Oh yeah.
He sent me a text when he was up there getting the outlines done, and he's like, "Dude, such a great view." And I'm like, "Wait a second, where are you?" He's like, "In Canada, getting my back done by James."
Nice.
And immediately I was just, "Dude, let me see it. Photograph everything." Once again, one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. I was very fortunate to get to meet him at London one of the years, and then again in Puerto Rico. And just a super nice guy. Of course, if we're talking about Canadian tattooers, we can't go wrong without mentioning Damian Robertson, whose work is, in my opinion, right up there with James, Anthony, and all the guys over at Deadly, as well as Clint Danroth. I was actually fortunate enough to get tattooed by him in London one year. That was incredible.
We're looking at Damien's work now.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal artist. Very illustrative, lots and lots of texture, great perspective. Just enough lines to go through and really accent certain things, but you lose that aspect of it, and it's almost like you don't even pay attention to it. Yeah, man. Wow. Just unbelievable.
What's I'm trying to think of her last name. Is it Heidi? There's an illustrator, tattooer lady who's been in Canada forever, who's right up in line with everyone. Heidi. I always I remember her last name every like year or two. Heather, Heidi. She's an amazing painter. I think she painted with did I show up Paul Booth maybe at one point? Maybe I don't remember.
I was going to say, it's not ringing a bell. Then again, there are so many incredible tattooers in Canada. It's hard to keep track.
Kaya's there too. She's amazing. Kaya Heitland. She's
Yeah.
over in Vancouver.
Then you get guys like Tony Hu from Chronic Ink. He's incredible. You know, he does a lot of black and gray, Asian influence stuff. Oh, wow. Flow on that's amazing.
Yeah. She did one of the Reinventing Live events. She's wicked smart. Yeah, it's guy's brother. I'm sure that this other one was gonna show up. Where
I love almost the Art Deco kind of feel to it.
yeah.
That's amazing work.
I'm trying to find. Well, that might be lost on me. But look at that.
Oh, wow.
Maybe somebody in the chat room will help me out. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting enough action to get spammed on the Facebooks.
Oh, yeah?
Woohoo!
Oh, spam. Gotta love it. Of all of the things that can occupy people's time, why would they want to spam, a Facebook account?
Yeah, as soon as there's enough action, then they get to soak up some of it, right? It's the
Oh, of course.
Heather? Is that her name? That's her name. Heather McLean, maybe? Unless it's an actress.
Ah, yes.
H-bomb, I figured it out. Hyphia. Aha, now you'll understand why. Hyphia. Okay. There we go. These are obviously her paintings. Yeah.
Wow. Graphite on paper, 10 by 14 inches. Wow. Some of the sizes of those originals are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Digital tint, okay.
Oh, that's cool. These are all cool.
The amount of detail that certain people can get in such a small area just blows my mind.
Yeah. It's almost.
I would just get so unbelievably lost in just the tiny, minute little details that I'd spend years working on something like that and never finish it. That's always been my problem, though, is I always end up getting lost in detail, and I never, it's plagued me for Lord knows how long.
Huh.
But I just always end up getting lost in detail and don't usually end up remembering to take a step back and really look at the big picture and remember that some details need to be obscured in order to allow others to stand out. It's the difference between using a huge paintbrush and a small little miniature brush and really creating that contrast and amount of detail. It's something that I know I struggle with it in almost everything I do. And it's something that I know I need to work on as an artist. Other people just kind of get it, and I'm very jealous of those people.
Okay. Oliver, who should we be looking up from your inspirations?
Of course, Philip Bleu.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Philip Bleu. I'm an old fan of Klaus Fuhrmann. Make.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
let me bring up Philip. Did I see that you got tattooed by Philip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not no bodysuit, but some cover-ups.
Uh-huh.
I got some really old cover-ups. My arms was full of old stuff, and then he and Klaus, they covered it.
Uh-huh.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Just insane.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For Guy. I see your paintings, and I ask myself if you're using dynamic symmetry before you start for the composition, or that's just do it freestyle.
Yeah. You'll have to catch him later tonight because he popped off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but maybe the other somebody else knows
What was?
anything about.
I mean, I personally don't use it. You can kind of see the influences in some of his work, but I think that just comes naturally to him from the way that he sees everything.
Mm.
But I mean, that's a very good question.
I came across this stuff on YouTube. There are some guys that talk about it, and it makes sense for me. Yeah, at least for a picture. For the body, I don't know. Sometimes I use it for drawing. Sometimes I finish stuff as a picture, as a painting or something.
Right.
iPad. But for the tattoos, I don't use it. But I think for painting can be cool. Like this geometric.
I always find that using, divine proportions and just going into things of that nature work really, really well and make things a little bit more visually interesting as far as like actual paintings, fine artwork, and things of that nature go. And I personally try to do it if I can, whenever I'm designing, a tattoo that I'm going to have in an appropriate amount of space to do it with on an individual part of a body.
Yeah.
For example, large scale back pieces, sides, things of that nature. I'll definitely try to do my best to include some type of dynamic or divine proportion. Sometimes it's not always possible though, depending on what area you're working on and what the proportions and size of that area are, what area the client's trying to fill up. I always find it hard to do back pieces that stop at the top of a belt line because you don't really have the right aspect ratio to really make it visually interesting. And if you do, you usually have to crop down the sides a little bit more to make it fit that kind of a divine proportion.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I always try to, I'll do my best to say, hey, listen, let's bring it down a little bit further. This way we can make it, a little bit more dynamic and it'll make it a lot more visually interesting. Let me just show you what it can look like. And a lot of times when you show them how much more visually interesting it is, they'll go with it. Sometimes it gets, into a little bit of a gray area where they're like, yeah, I just really wasn't trying to go that big. And it's like, okay, well, we'll work with you on it. Maybe we'll trim down the sides a little bit. so it can fit that right proportion. But I usually try to do my best to talk them into going so that I can use something like, the golden ratio and try to incorporate that, because it's been proven that it's far more visually interesting.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, on the body you have the body form give you also some restrictions, no? You cannot
Right.
do what you want on every place, so you have to follow the muscles and the stuff. But on a
Right.
canvas, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I always, whenever I'm working on a painting, I'll always try to go with something that's usually like a 1:2 aspect ratio. So as long as it's either twice as wide as it is tall, or twice as tall as it is wide, then I know no matter what I do, I can make sure that it's visually interesting. And I'll go through and I'll measure everything out and make sure that I have my visual points of interest. And I'll say, okay, here's this rectangle, here's this rectangle, here's this rectangle, here's this rectangle. I know my visual points of interest are going to be here, here, and here. So, and I'll go through and I'll sketch all of that on a canvas or on a piece of paper, or I'll do like an overlay with a large piece of tracing paper, and just make sure that my visual interesting points are in those correct spots, because I know that naturally that's where people are going to look when they're looking at something that's made in that kind of a size. But as far as like doing tattoos, if you're not working with that area of the body and with the underlying muscle structure of the body, then it doesn't really matter what you're going to do. It's, it'll look nice, but it won't have the same kind of visual impact.
Okay, thank you. For this topic, I can say I have a friend in Switzerland. His name is Sören Sankuhl, and he brought out his second book. It's about dragons and snakes, and it's about the symmetry and the geometry. It's very interesting, so maybe you can check it out.
How do you spell his name?
Sören, also S-Ö-R-I-N.
E-M?
And the last name is Sankuhl, S-A-N-G-K-U-H-L. I hope it's right.
Let's see.
He brought out his second book, and it's about very interesting stuff. And he is so good. I saw him starting some maybe 20 years ago, and now he's amazing and very nice person.
Need to find it. Let's see here. I can't find the Klaus person though, I bet. Let's see here.
I don't have the name.
So I'm going to put up some Klaus here. And we'll keep the stream going for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. And then
Sounds good to me.
give it a bit of a break. Thanks again for everybody in the chat room. Let us know where you're beaming in from. And oh yeah, I remember checking this guy out before. Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Musical machines.
Also Klaus, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, John Dix.
Wow.
Oh, fun.
Very psychedelic.
Yeah. Very cool. Look at that. Mhm.
Whoa. That's
Freaky.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a bit under the radar. No.
Mm.
Some years ago, he was on a lot of conventions in Germany and Europe. Won a lot of prizes.
Uh-huh. Nice. Very fun. Okay.
Gabe, before we shut down, I wanted to pick your brain about something.
Sure thing.
I was thinking about maybe starting in January, having a couple of guest artists come on and just kind of outline some of their drawing processes.
Absolutely.
I've got a couple of guys. Well, I'm obviously going to try to reach out to Phibbs and see if he's interested in popping in and doing that. I can't guarantee he is. He's out on the West Coast, and I know it's not going to be super late, but not too bad. Or super early. So
Yeah, it'd be like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock maybe.
yeah. But also I had a friend of mine in Massachusetts I'd like to bring on. He's really been just nailing stuff left and right with neo-traditional work.
Uh-huh. Who's this?
Devin Cooley.
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar. Let's see. Devin Cooley. Where's he at? Where's he working?
He's working up in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's my neck of the woods. I'm
The
wondering.
studio off the top of my head, but he actually tattooed me in December. Well, last December, not this December, obviously, but down at the Puerto Rico show, and took home a couple of nice first place trophies from it.
Cool.
But his drawing and design process is just awesome. Phenomenal guy, very talented tattooer and artist. Just great all around person, but he's got a very awesome way to go through and design things and, just draw things out.
Awesome. Cool. How do you spell it? Coley?
Oley.
Here we go. Boston Tattoos. Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah, cool. Oh, yeah.
Super clean work, super nice and bright.
Is this him?
Yep.
It says Southern, but yep, no. Yeah, okay. Yeah, look at that bird. Sick. Yeah, this is my neck of the woods. I mean, I guess this is a little bit more Boston, but. Oh, yeah, nice and bright.
Yeah,
Look
it's
at that little mix up the
collaborative
styles here.
with Teresa Andrews.
Oh, okay, collab, yeah. Boom.
Yeah, just super vibrant work.
Saga's fucking cool too. You know this guy. Damn it, we could just keep fucking looking
know,
at
right?
tattoos forever, huh? Damn, look at that. That's cool.
Super clean, man.
I remember seeing his work before, because, like I said, I'm from Mass, so I try to pay attention. Look at that. Howie's not badass. Yeah.
Yeah, he works a lot of different shows all over. Just
she
super
work-
awesome, dude.
She's sick. She works up at Venom. I know those guys too. Bam! Bam! Look at that. She's great.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's insane. Oh man, look at that. That's
awesome.
That's incredible.
People just keep getting better. It's amazing.
I know, right?
And Saga, do you know this guy? Maybe we'll end with him.
Yeah. I think he also worked down in Puerto Rico the one year.
I judged his work once at a show, and I would swear that there's no way that these pictures could look this saturated and fucking.
Oh, they are.
But they are.
They
They look
are.
better in real life. It's and then years later, I'll look at some of his work. I'm like, that can't be. It's got to be photoshopped. But wait, I know because I've seen it in person. It's so fucking.
Right?
Like I said, it's better in person. Yeah. Cover up action. Huh? Boom. He was going to come down for the Rock River show, the tattoo convention the guy's going to put on some point. Yeah.
Very nice. Look at the texture.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a full Star Wars sleeve here. It's hard to see probably, but
Look at that, man.
6 sessions total.
What? Insane. Absolutely insane.
Where's he's doing some cosmic work on his partner. Where is it? Right on the face. Yes.
Oof. That's nuts. Whoa.
Never a dull moment in tattoo world, huh?
Nope. Nope. People are just getting better and better.
You'll know I've made $1 million when I get my face tattooed. That was
Right?
the deal I made with my wife.
Yeah, I don't know if I personally could ever go that route. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not exactly the prettiest person in the world, so it would probably be an improvement. But I just don't know if I could ever do it. If I did, I would probably go with like a little sideburn jammer.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going nuts, but she had some nice subtlety going on with it a little bit. Okay, so one last round in the chat room. We've got Ginger says, thanks for having us all. I'm in Chattaroy, Washington, about 20 minutes north of Spokane. She has a sister in Westport, Mass. So, and the snake is incredible in detail. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, Ginger. Let's see, Atomic is in Marietta, Georgia. And hopefully we'll catch up with you and your kids later. It'll be fun to do the kids bio jam. Let's see. Saha asks on the YouTube, are you from South Africa? But that was Seth, I believe, is a viewer from South Africa. I was saying hello to him. Let's see. David DeLaRue, have a lovely day, guys. Thanks again for the live discussion. I'll be sure to join in the app community. Awesome. And that's the mobile app. If anybody that's made it this far in the videos knows that there's a mobile app in the Apple Store and also in the Android, and people are signing up. That's the best way to keep in touch with all of these streams. Okay. Okay, well, I guess I'll just close it out real quick and then pass it off to Jason. Thanks again for tuning in to Reinventing the Tattoo, hashtag Reinventing Drawing Group. So if you're drawing along and you're posting stuff up out on the social medias, hashtag it Reinventing Drawing Group. The next event that we have is also open to the public. It's happening tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. It's the first global bio art party, and there'll be a ton of different bio artists all collaborating, beaming in, swapping off artwork, and you can check out the details of that event in the Reinventing the Tattoo app. So go to the App Store and download it, or if you prefer desktop, you can go to community.reinventingthetattoo.com. And we do this show every Sunday at 1 o'clock with Jason Leeser. Fuck, I don't even know. With Jason. And I'll let him... Oh, thanks to our sponsors, inkjetstencils.com, Cheyenne Tattoo Equipment, and we have others, plenty of partners and friends that will be hopping on in the near future. Cool. Well, I'm going to bow out here and let you have the last word, Jason and Oliver.
Cool. thank you guys for joining us. I'm probably actually going to get going in just a few minutes as well. Got laundry list of things to do today. So thank you very much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. If anyone is interested in getting a hold of me for any kind of a reason, you can always reach me at Instagram at Philly Inc. It's all one word. It's pretty easy to get a hold of me that way. I'm on Instagram all the time, unless I'm obviously working in a drawing group. If anyone ever has any questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Otherwise, thank you for joining. Oliver, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, on Instagram.
Okay, and
What
what's
do
your
you-
Instagram?
Ollie. Don't dash.
Underscore.
Lonian,
An underscore.
underscore, yeah. Lonian tattoo. Lonien tattoo.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And yeah, and people, you guys are all set up on the also on the mobile app, on the Reinventing app, so people can click the friend and connect there too. So awesome. Well, thanks again as always. And yeah, I'm gonna click the end button, and we'll catch up in the future.
Take
Thank
care,
you very
guys.
much.